In 1966, Adam West signed what seemed like the role of a lifetime. The Batman TV series turned him into an instant celebrity, and the show sparked a merchandising frenzy that raked in an estimated $3.5 billion worldwide. Toys, lunchboxes, costumes, and countless other items flew off shelves. His contract included a clause that promised him 5% of the net profits from any merchandise featuring his likeness. Yet when he looked at his bank statements, not a single extra dollar had appeared. The studio had slipped one quiet phrase into the agreement, a loophole so airtight that it robbed him of millions while staying completely within the law. That single wording would go on to reshape how Hollywood handled actor royalties for decades. He was born William West Anderson on September 19, 1928, in Walla Walla, Washington. His father, Otto, spent long days working the family's apple orchards, while his mother, Audrey, a classically trained opera singer and pianist, still carried the unfulfilled dream of a stage career. She had once pursued fame herself but set it aside to raise her two boys. At home she was theatrical, creative, and volatile, battling alcoholism and depression for years. Adam later said she was brilliantly talented yet deeply troubled, and even amid the turmoil she instilled in him a fierce need to perform and be noticed. His father offered calm and stability, but it was his mother's restless artistry that left the strongest imprint. One day in 1938, 10-year-old Billy picked up Detective Comics issue number 27. On the cover, a dark-caped figure soared over Gotham's rooftops. It was Batman's very first appearance. The character's blend of shadows, intelligence, and mystery captivated him. Heroes, he realized, didn't have to be invincible, they could be clever and tormented. He devoured the comics, acted out scenes in the backyard, and practiced different voices, imagining himself inside those panels. For a sensitive kid in a chaotic home, Batman became more than entertainment. It was a way out. When he was 15, his parents divorced. He moved with his mother and younger brother to Seattle. Audrey soon remarried a prominent neurosurgeon, Dr. Paul Flothow, and the family settled into an imposing stone mansion. She resumed hosting lavish parties filled with musicians and artists, trying to recreate the glamorous life she'd once wanted. Teenage Adam absorbed it all. Seattle's energy, its theaters, radio stations, and bustling streets, felt worlds away from the quiet orchards of Walla Walla and began shaping the performer he would become. He had a rebellious streak. He started high school back in Walla Walla but was expelled. At the elite Lakeside School in Seattle he got into more trouble. One night he and a friend stole a school bus, drove it to Tacoma, and partied with girls and champagne. Expulsion loomed again, but he talked his way out of it and was allowed to stay on the condition that he board with a strict math teacher. Despite the chaos, he excelled: athletics, student government, and especially school plays. His rich, resonant voice earned him the nickname Tex Anderson, and he quickly learned how to command an audience. After graduation he returned to Walla Walla and enrolled at Whitman College, majoring in literature and psychology and joining the Beta Theta Pi fraternity. He competed on the speech team and discovered a natural gift for persuasion and performance. In his senior year, 1950, he married a fellow student, Billy Lou Yeager, who was only 17. To support them he worked summers in canneries and on ranches. After college he took a job as a radio announcer while saving for graduate school at Stanford, though he never actually enrolled. Instead he drifted, spending one summer pretending to study at UC Santa Barbara while mostly lounging on the beach, still searching for direction. The Korean War interrupted everything in 1951. Drafted into the Army, he luckily avoided combat and was assigned to the American Forces Network. For 2 years he announced news, weather, and morale programs from bases in California and New Jersey. Those live broadcasts sharpened his timing, scripting skills, and on-air presence, unseen training that would serve him for the rest of his career. Discharged in 1953, he briefly delivered milk at dawn before rushing to radio auditions. Small commercials and voice work kept hope alive. By 1954 he felt ready for a bigger move. He packed up his young family and headed to Hawaii, where he landed a sidekick spot on a children's show hosted by a chimpanzee named Peaches. He improvised sketches, bantered with kids, and eventually took over as host for $50 an episode. The audience adored his warmth and quick wit. In 1957 he officially changed his name to Adam West, short, memorable, and carrying just the right classic swagger. That same year his first marriage began to crumble under the strain of constant travel between Hawaii and Los Angeles auditions. His persistence finally paid off in 1959 with an uncredited two-day role in The Young Philadelphians alongside Paul Newman. The $200 paycheck was tiny, but the screen credit opened doors. Over the next few years he guest-starred on countless westerns, often playing smooth gamblers or gunslingers, and portrayed Doc Holliday on 3 separate series. In 1962 he landed his first leading film role in a low-budget western called Geronimo, earning $5,000 opposite Chuck Connors. The brutal Utah shoot tested him physically, but it proved he could carry a picture. More eclectic parts followed: a villain on Perry Mason, an alien visitor on The Outer Limits, a quirky sergeant alongside Steve McQueen in Soldier in the Rain, which unfortunately flopped, and a doomed astronaut in the sci-fi cult classic Robinson Crusoe on Mars. That same year he flew to London to test for James Bond after Sean Connery's departure. He read scenes from Thunderball but lost the part to George Lazenby, a humbling experience that ultimately pushed him away from straight action hero aspirations and toward more character-driven work. Then, in late 1965, everything changed. A guest spot on The Detectives, playing a suave con man, caught the eye of ABC executives developing a campy new superhero series. His agent aggressively pitched him as the perfect actor to deliver deadpan sincerity beneath an absurd costume. Soon Adam West was screen testing in a prototype bat suit. The contract was signed, 7 years, starting at $350 per episode. In October he first wore the full costume, cowl weighing nearly 40 pounds, neck movement severely restricted, shot under blazing studio lights for 12-hour days. None of that mattered when Batman premiered on January 12, 1966. The 2-part debut drew 20 million viewers. West's deliberately stiff delivery and lines like, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb," instantly clicked. By mid-season the show ranked 5th in the nation. His salary gradually rose to around $2,250 per episode, while co-star Burt Ward, Robin, remained shockingly underpaid at $450. The physical toll was heavy, the cowl caused constant neck strain, and the tight schedule left little recovery time. Yet the cultural impact was seismic. A feature film followed in summer 1966, budgeted at $1.5 million and earning strong returns. Merchandise exploded: capes, utility belts, lunchboxes, and Batmobile toys became must-have items for kids everywhere. Both West and Ward had been promised 5% of net merchandising profits generated by their likenesses. As sales soared past billions, no money arrived. Studio accountants had routed everything through subsidiaries and reclassified nearly all items as promotional tie-ins, rather than licensed merchandise. Because the studio itself technically never sold the products directly, the royalty clause never triggered. It was legal, airtight, and devastating. By 1968 leaked financial documents confirmed the scale of the profits. Furious, West sued Greenway Productions for $1 million. The case settled privately for a confidential sum widely reported to be under $100,000, far less than he was owed, and included a strict gag order. The show ended in 1968 after 3 seasons. West assumed bigger roles would follow, but severe typecasting set in. Directors saw only the campy caped crusader. He auditioned more than 50 times for major films, including a serious bid for The Godfather, and landed almost nothing. Debts mounted, he sold his Hollywood home. Rejections piled up, drinking worsened, and by the early 1970s he was taking any guest spot available, sometimes showing up on set too intoxicated to function. In 1970 he married Marcelle Tag-en-Lear, a steady, loving partner who refused to let him self-destruct. A 1974 DUI arrest and crash into studio gates became a wake-up call. With her support he entered rehab, began therapy, and slowly rebuilt his life. Work remained sparse and often humiliating, countless cameos that mocked his Batman persona. By 1980 suicidal thoughts surfaced, again Marcel pulled him back from the edge, redemption arrived unexpectedly. A 1992 guest spot on The Simpsons let him poke fun at himself on his own terms. Then in 2000 Family Guy cast him as the bizarre Mayor Adam West, a recurring role that lasted 17 seasons and allowed glorious improvisation. Fans adored his surreal one-liners, and for the first time in decades he was laughing with the audience instead of being laughed at. Steady voice work followed, Fairly Odd Parents, Johnny Bravo, and more, restoring both finances and dignity. Conventions became lucrative. He earned up to $100,000 a year signing autographs and embracing fans who never forgot the joy he'd brought them. In 2012 he finally received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In early 2017 he was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia but kept it private, undergoing gentle treatment. On June 9, 2017, at age 88, he died peacefully at home surrounded by Marcel and his 6 children. His whispered final words were, "To the bat pole." That night the bat signal shone on Los Angeles City Hall. Walla Walla illuminated Whitman Tower in his honor. Family Guy aired a loving tribute watched by millions, and Quahog High School was renamed Adam West High. His estate was valued at roughly $8 million, respectable, yet a fraction of the tens of millions he had been denied decades earlier because of that one devastating contractual phrase.